you say is the best part of?
Sorry, say that one more time.
What's the best part of being a teacher?
The best part is 2 months vacations.
Sounds nice.
We vacation for 2 months. I think I'm just playing. The best part is watching kids understand things. I think real teachers, that people that love teaching, they get the greatest satisfaction in watching a kid look at something and understand and grow. We love growth. We love to see growth, and I think for me that's the best part.
Okay, okay, definitely. What kind of skills do you think one would need to have and possess to in order to be a good teacher?
Number one, and I hate to say it, is personality. If you don't have the personality to understand people and be patient, you'll only last maybe 2 or 3 years before you get burnt out. You have to deal with the kids, also their families, also staff, administration. You're part of a big team, and if you're not a team player, then you won't survive. So I'd say that's the most important thing.
Oh, okay, okay. And I guess there's different types of teachers, but what would you say is the basic like education that you need to have in order to be a teacher?
So you have to have a university degree.
Mm-hmm.
That's to go to school, I guess about 4 years, and then you have to have a bachelor's education.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on what part of the country you're in, it's different. So in Alberta, we do 2 years. You can do a combined degree.
Mm-hmm.
So you instead of 4 years and 2 years, which is 6, you can do it in 5. But if you do it that way, you actually get paid less. They pay teachers on a grid. So the more experience you have, the more years you're in school, the more money they have to give you right off the bat. If you're out east
Okay.
and in Vancouver, they actually have programs where it's 4 years and you become a teacher with the B.Ed, but they get paid less because they're in school less, right?
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh. What are the career paths that are available for a teacher?
Pretty linear. You become a teacher,
Mm-hmm.
you either become a vice principal, or a principal or a administrator,
Okay.
and that's it. The thing is with teaching, because we have so many different skills, people skills, you have to have organizational skills. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of teachers get poached, so other companies will come and offer teachers different jobs because teachers can fit in a lot of different places. So a lot of teachers don't last that long
Oh, okay.
because people give them more money for less work.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah.
Would you be able to, I know like a professor in university, it's a teacher. What's the difference? What would you say is the difference between like a teacher in high school and a professor at a university? Like, can you work up to become a professor, or is it kind of the same thing?
The thing with being a professor is you have to have, to be called a professor, you have to have a PhD, so you have to have some kind of study. Whereas teachers just have 2 degrees or a combined one. So you could essentially become a professor after you're a teacher, and a lot of teachers go to school while teaching
Mm-hmm.
and get their master's and doctorate. If you're in a good school, they'll pay for it for you. But the difference is you have some research going on in the background, and you work at a bigger institution. You usually don't have to have as much one-to-one contact, and you don't have to deal with parents as a professor, which is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so take us through a day in the life of a teacher. What does that look like?
You show up really early, too early for me.
Uh-huh.
Punch in, you got to photocopy a ton of things. Check your email. There's always meetings popping up. Someone has to be on supervision. Then the kids roll in, and then you have to greet them. Sometimes they come happy, sad, hungry. Our school and most schools now are bringing breakfast programs to feed kids because a lot of them don't come to school hungry and can't learn, right? So
That's
we
true.
address those basic needs. We're addressing more of the basic needs at schools everywhere. They have breakfast or snack right off the bat. We know everybody's full. There's no reason for you not to learn, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then after that, you go through your classes. You might have one prep period or preparation period, and that usually when you sit because you talk all day you're talking. Sit down, do this, explain it again. You're running around. People are asking you questions. People are touching you, depending on the age of your kids.
Mm-hmm.
Um, then you have lunchtime, but lunchtime you're just eating and walking
Mm-hmm.
and just circulating. So you don't really get real downtime.
Mm-hmm.
And by the end of the day, you're tired. The kids leave if they're on a bus or their parents pick them up, and you have to wait 15 minutes after every kid leaves before you can leave a school, unless you have a point. So usually teachers have to stay until the school's empty. So that's why they're always telling kids to go home,
Yeah.
right? Um,
Makes
there's
sense.
also exceptions,
Uh-huh.
right?
Okay.
Like if some teachers have their own kids, so they're like, "Hey, I have to pick my kids up, so I'm leaving," which is fine, but you still have to stay back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, people are asking where we're based. So I'm based in Calgary.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you right now, Kim?
I am in Edmonton.
Edmonton. Perfect.
Yes, yes.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm teaching in the southwest of Calgary, but I'm from Toronto. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Um, it's Tsutina. I know Tsutina. It's and First Nations name. Correct me if I'm wrong. So is it
Yep.
just for everyone, or like, or is anyone can just come in, or it's mostly for First Nations?
The way the nations work is you have to be a band member. So if you're First Nations and you're born on the reserve, you get a number, and
Oh,
it gives you the status card. If you are
oh,
status Indian, as they
yeah.
call it, and you're from that reserve, then you can go to their school. So you don't let anyone in there.
Oh, okay, 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 definitely. So what advice would you give someone, would you give to someone who's looking into venturing into this profession?
I think the best advice I can give you is make friends and be patient. I think a lot of people um, try to do everything by themselves, which
Mm-hmm.
is a bad idea as a teacher. There's a lot of stuff I do. I just copy and paste off the internet, and I have no shame in saying it.
Mm-hmm.
My teacher mentor also told me always beg, borrow, and steal. Take what you need because teaching is collaborative. There's no competition. There's no race to be the best teacher. Everyone's just trying to reach their kids. So
Mm-hmm.
everyone's really helpful. And so make friends and be patient with yourself. It takes time to understand and be able to execute the curriculum as well as take care of yourself. That's where I'm at right now, learning the balance, work life.
Oh, okay. Okay, definitely. I'll have someone who has a teacher too in the comments. Well, thank you so
Yeah.
much for coming in today and teaching us, letting us know how you got into the profession and your opinions about the profession. Do you have any last words? Anything else you'd like to say about being a teacher?
Uh, just it's a labor of love. If you don't love being a teacher or love teaching people, you should
Mm-hmm.
probably do something else because there's a lot of jobs you can do that are way easier and pay better. And any teacher will tell you that they don't do it because of the money. The money's okay. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie.
Mm-hmm.
The bonuses are okay and the pension's good, but there's a lot of things I could be doing that are easier. I do it because I actually do love this, and so it's
Mm-hmm.
fun.
Okay. We have a question here. So what's the pay and benefits like? You don't have to give us the whole, but yeah, what is the average pay and benefits like?
Okay, so if you are a teacher and you did the combined degree, say you
Mm-hmm.
were from BC, you did the combined degree in that, you can finish in 4 years. You can
Okay.
probably start off making it was like 55 a year,
Okay.
right? Not bad.
Mm-hmm.
You have the benefits and everything. The union is strong, so we get a lot of benefits, and we're really well protected.
Oh,
Um, I think another question rolled in. Can I scroll back up?
yeah.
So the benefits are good. Someone asked about the benefits. Benefits are
Yes.
great. Pretty much pay for everything. Well, like 80, 90%, depending on where you are. With the nation, First Nations, they actually pay more into my retirement fund than the city
Oh, okay.
because I got hired on both. I chose to work on the First Nations Reserve. So
Mm.
my benefits and my pension are going to mature faster if I stay
Oh,
with them. Which is nice.
okay.
Uh,
We have another question here. So, what have you learned about teaching now that you didn't know while you were in school?
um, I I didn't know how real you had to be. Like, kids are smart. They know when you're faking it. If you're trying to just read a book and teach to them, forget about it. You know, they tell you, oh, you can just look at the curriculum and figure it out in school. And they say that in Lethbridge all the time. Study the curriculum, you'll be fine. Good lesson plans. Yeah, that doesn't work. If you're not about what you're teaching, the kids are going to figure it out pretty quick and they're going to lose interest. They only want to be taught by people who love what they're talking about. So that's what I learned. And I learned that the hard way, I was teaching kindergarten and I was teaching colors and I don't give a damn about the color purple, but we had to talk about it for an hour and the kids knew I wasn't feeling it and they weren't feeling it. So
Okay, okay. We have another question here. So, since you teach First Nations school, isn't it hard with the cultural differences?
yeah. So you know what? We got a benefit, and most looks like most people on this chat are black. Shout out to my brothers and sisters out there.
Mm-hmm.
Native people love chicken. They love black people. I'm gonna tell you the truth. Um, I don't have to deal with the whole "oh, are you racist" thing. Although people have tried it, but more as a joke. Um, because
Mm-hmm.
they understand our plight from before almost mirrors their plight. So they, if anything, they feel the core of us and they really
Mm-hmm.
appreciate the culture that we have. Because if you actually dive into First Nations culture, they do a lot of dancing and singing. There was a lot of their stuff was written down, a lot like
Yeah.
African culture, right? They put a high emphasis on music and dancing, a lot like Caribbean and African culture too. So
Mm-hmm.
we had we had a lot more in common than we had different. So that was easy. I
Okay.
saw another question
Yeah.
about a
So,
parent.
yeah, bad encounter with a parent.
Ooh, without violating my confidentiality, I'll tell you, yes, I've had quite a few. When I started, I was in kindergarten. Okay,
Mm.
so that's everybody's little baby. No kid can do no wrong. So imagine being the first teacher this kid has and telling the parent that your kid probably has a learning disability, or some kind of delay, which we have to be able to spot. Um, so I had a counter with one parent. She believed her son was bullied and he came home with like a goose egg. He got punched in the head. But
Mm-hmm.
I put him on the bus, put him on buses. And when I put him on the bus, he was fine. So he told his parents it happened at school, but
Okay.
myself and my EA assistants, we saw him go off and it definitely didn't happen with us because we would have caught it. So we had parents who we had to convince basically that her son was lying. He was trying to protect his friend who actually punched him because he admitted after the fact what happened,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that phone call was tough. I called her and she just yelled at me for 25 minutes. I don't remember what she said. It was just wild, just everything, everything. And then
Yeah.
she came to the school the next day. I didn't know she was coming. And that time her son was having a tantrum and she came in and she just started screaming at my assistants. I had two assistants, right? She just started screaming at them. I was with another student, came in, walked into her screaming at them, and I just walked backwards. Not, not to leave them hanging, but when she met me and she realized how much I cared about the kids, she calmed down, she apologized. But she was in such an emotional state that
Yeah.
she was beyond reasoning. I didn't even touch that. And the good thing about being a teacher, if you have good administration, that's when your principal or vice principal step in and talk for you because you don't have to put yourself in a risky situation. That's unsafe work. I feel
Mm-hmm.
safe, you know, and so I just walked away. I'm like, hey, I'm not dealing with that lady. They're like, fine, we got it, right? Done.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, there's definitely, and you know what? To be honest, it was the same parent all over and over. She used to call me a lot with a lot of complaints, and that was her
Mm-hmm.
personality.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, you have to deal with it, right? So
Yeah, definitely. Okay. We have another question here. So, can I get into teaching without my a Bachelor of Education?
in Canada, no,
Mm-hmm.
unless you go a different route and you go overseas. They will actually
Mm.
allow you to teach out a B.Ed, but
Mm.
around the world, if you have a bachelor's education, they'll always pay you a little bit more.
Oh, okay.
If you have a Yeah, if you just have a regular degree, you can go overseas and teach. Actually, you can teach English and stuff like that. I was looking at those options. But if you want to teach in Canada, you do need a B.Ed, unless you're going to a small school and you may not have the title of teacher, but they might let you teach. They go. There's also back door to everything, right? So,
Okay, another question. Do you have your own unique method of dealing with non-cooperative students?
yeah, I make them laugh. I'm a funny guy. I read one girl in my class. She was snapping.
Hello? Sorry, I can't hear you.
You went black.
I'm going to end the live stream.
Yeah,
Hi,
yeah, I can hear you.
can you hear me? So, you kind of cut off after I asked the question. So, do you have your own unique method of dealing with non-cooperative students?
Yeah, I just said I was funny, so I
Mm-hmm.
either make them laugh or I
Uh-huh.
deflect or diffuse the situation. So I told them a story about one girl who wasn't listening to me and Snapchatting in my class during math class. So
Mm-hmm.
I got behind her and I got on her Snapchat story. So she had the filters, the duck face, and I
Yeah,
just popped my head in there and it hit my face perfectly. And she
yeah.
took it and she sent it quick. And I'm like, if you keep taking photos in my class, you're gonna be that one person with the random black guy on your story, all right? And I don't care. I will embarrass you.
Mm-hmm.
I went to the field trip, I think, on Monday, and my kids
Yeah.
weren't listening, so I held their hands and I walked them back to the bus and I sang the Caillou song. And it's Caillou, Caillou. Like, I just don't care. And my students know
Yeah.
me. They know I'll do it. So they fall in line.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay, so we have another question. So, if you would be given a platform, what advice would you give a parent slash guardians coming from a teacher?
Understand it's a team effort. I think some parents think that you send your kid to school and then we just fix them and we send them back to you.
Mm-hmm.
They have us for maybe 10 months, 4 months at high school. They have you for 18, 20 years. So we are only working with what you give us, right? And I think a lot of parents still don't understand that. We have to deal with a lot of stuff where like, why is my kid not doing well? You're not doing your job, right? The onus comes on us. But we're just there. We walk into a situation and we're just supporting or supplementing things that they may not have got before, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's a team.
It's a teamwork. Okay,
Mhm.
definitely. That definitely makes sense. I don't know if there's any more questions from the audience. But yeah, no, thank you for answering. Thank you for coming in today and talking about being a teacher and the experience with that. I really appreciate it. All right.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. Thank you. I'll talk to you later. All right.
Okay. See